What's happening, everyone? It's the Mercenary. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hope you guys are ready to embrace this week's whatever it is you got going on. Stay safe while at it. And today's video is actually going to be a non-scripted slash free thoughts at the top of my mind because this is kind of a hot topic for most. But I want to express my thoughts and opinions about the upcoming games in the future and just games in general. And we are nothing short of gamers that like to express our opinion in the most vulgar way possible, and we kind of let our imaginative, creative responses get a little bit out of hand. So what I mean by this is that we tend to go out of our expressive ways of what we really want to get down to the bottom line here, but we also like to express and elaborate on what we want and what we don't want. And based upon the title, it's actually very true, and it's actually really a disappointing factor at this point because games to what they are now, I know that the consoles that are coming out that are supposed to support the games that are meant to be handled at the resolution that they're at and stuff, but I mean, back in the day, we just appreciated what the Xbox 360 and PS3 were able to do back in the day, and now that we're in the current generation, which is Xbox One and PS4 and Nintendo Switch, the graphics that we're giving now are absolutely astonishing. Like, you wouldn't think by upgrading from the 360 or PS3 that you would notice much graphical difference apart from what's obvious, unless it was like one of those side-by-side videos. But the fact that we eventually noticed the difference later on because of the extra work that the developers put into the current gen consoles versus, the technology that goes into the older ones just isn't as great and as powerful. Therefore, they're kind of forced to be held back and to compensating for what the old hardware is versus what the new one is. Now, my thoughts on that matter are we as gamers are becoming way, way too demanding and are way too expected of everything being perfect. And unless we know exactly what it's like to be in the developer's shoes, like as far as being a game tester and stuff, like figuring out all the bugs, hence why I believe Cyberpunk has been delayed as many times as it has been, is because CD Projekt Red really cares about their product, and therefore they know the circumstances are that they are going to be disappointing a lot of fans because they did have a set due date on September 15th, I believe, but now they pushed it back to November. Some people may think that's a coincidence because that might be around the same time the Xbox Series X launches, but also of what they share on their behalf that certain game mechanics would not make it into the game because they know that it'd be a game-breaking bug and that there'd be no way of having it in there, even though, and by this I mean the wall running mechanic. By the way, I'm using this as an analogy because as game developers, I can't begin to fathom what kind of work goes into the workflow. Therefore, it's hard to empathize how strenuous the workload on their part must be, especially during this pandemic, that not everyone can work in the studio together, so pretty much everyone's working remotely from their homes. And the fact that we expect so much from game developers, and yes, it's kind of a two-sided sword that they've lied to us about a lot of things that they say are going to come on launch day and haven't delivered on that. But also, we don't know what the behind the scenes are until they give us a developer documentary. Now, there's a very interesting saying that couldn't be any more further from the truth than this, but we as humans are flawed. Therefore, everything that we work on, no matter how much big and no matter how big the team is, we are humans, and there's gonna be flaws in a lot of things. And by us correcting our mistakes, that's what makes us human, but that's not what makes us perfect. The fact that life is our teacher, and we're always learning from it. We're always learning about something, and we're never gonna be perfect. So we shouldn't be striving for it. We can come close to, like we can come around, but we'll never come close to. And for myself, subjectively, I never aim to be perfect. But anyway, this is kind of digressing. My point is that we as gamers are becoming way too complacent based upon what the developers are showing us, and we just don't appreciate games for what it is anymore. Like, I know they're trying to push for as realism as possible, but if there's a tiny speck that we feel is off a little bit, like such as a misguided texture, or if there's something a little bit wrong, like something that looks as close to pixelated as Minecraft, gamers are going to be very vulgar about expressing, there's a mistake here. You guys better fix this, or else I'm going to be making a visit to your door because my favorite game has this weird, very super minimal bug or glitch going on, and I'm going to come to your guys' door and I'm going to make sure that you guys know how I feel about that. For example, Last of Us Part 2, that has gotten so much heat because the story behind it apparently did not resonate well with others, and because of that, It's what's made people accepting the story for what it is not to be very acceptable in a lot of gamers' perspectives. Now, I would say there's like a 75 to a 25% ratio that 75% of the fans are hating on Last of Us Part 2 versus 25% who aren't. Now, to me, I believe that the 25% that aren't going to be as outshined and outclassed as the 75% of the people who are disappointed. And that's, when it comes to negative stuff, negative tends to hang out more than the positive at this point. And for a lot of people who say, I don't see why all the hate on this game, I thought it was pretty great. Well, that's great, that's your opinion, but a lot of people, and the majority of them, are not going to agree with you. And that's what I mean. We are becoming too complacent. Our expectations are set too high. We need to lower our expectations and learn to come to accept what a game is and stuff. Now, again, it all depends if the developers promise the product on release date that is going to be perfect, then that's a mistake on their end. But for us, I guess that's for us to decide. I like to try and be optimistic for games for other people I know are going to be interested in the games that are coming out. It's disappointing that we are not appreciative of what games are now these days versus what we want them to be, and they don't end up being that because we're not in control of the situation. But I like it how some people make it their opinions seem like everybody else is thinking the same thing too. That,
oh, this is gonna flop, this is not gonna do as great as their predecessors. Just like Xbox, it's gonna flop too. They don't have no exclusive. Or PS5, it's gonna have Spider-Man Miles Morales and Last of Us Part 2 and all them other games and stuff.
those kind of people are very irritable, and it sounds like they're freaking uneducated. They just make guesses, accusations without actually doing some proper research, and when people ask them about that, they shut up. It's like, exactly, that's what I thought. But those are just the kind of things I'm reading up on the internet these days, and it's very unfortunate. I find it to be very unfair. But you know what? Those guys are them. We have a choice of just blocking them out and not listening to them, because most of it is just a headache anyway. But as for myself, I do hope that most of the games that are coming out are going to be what your guys' expectations are. Like, if you're going to be excited and everything, even though I'm not going to, really be playing them just because it's not really my forte. But I don't mean any ill will towards those who wish to have a game come out exactly as they want to. It's just we got to lower our expectations down, just because when that happens, it's like getting something and then turning out at the last second it's not going to happen. If you have your expectations set so low, there's no need to be disappointed because you already were. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's time to move on to the next thing. But that's just my thoughts. You guys can leave me your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure you guys would like to be vocal about this. But this is just my expression. It's been irritating me for a while now. I just want to, air it out and everything. Hope you guys don't mind. But if you do enjoy these kind of videos, I'm actually trying to think of ideas since my last video about what more I can do. So if you guys enjoy these sort of ranting videos and all that stuff, what could make gaming better, my subjective thoughts, then be sure to leave me down in the comment section below your thoughts on this. And again, if you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to smash that like or dislike button, whichever you feel that the video deserves. And be sure to hit the subscribe button with the post notification bell so you never miss out on a single video. Until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.